We both know the sky is the limit. We're not afraid it's falling. In this big panorama of lies, which we came to call life, unwrapping everything to find. For my brothers on to rise, 'cause I know by the end of the day, there's no punishment divine. Don't you dare.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Checkerboard here. Thanks for stopping in to watch my Survival Hunter PvP guide for patch 7.1.5. We're basically we're going to be going over the talents, honor talents, and priority. Just a quick buzz through on what you need to be doing and how you should be speccing if you want to maximize your DPS and your survivability as a survival hunter in a PvP environment. What you're going to do is you're going to go in to your talents. You're going to go, we're going to buzz through these real fast. So on your first tier, level 15, you've got Animal Instincts, Throwing Axes, and Way of the Mok'Nathal. Now these, in my opinion, this tier's preference, the first two. The third, really not so much, or the first one rather, really not so much. I mean, you know, your flanking strike will reduce the cooldown on, you know, one of your other abilities. Not my top choice, because the cooldowns aren't that long on them anyway. Throwing axes is it's not bad for, you know, if you have to hit somebody at range to keep them in combat. Does this, you know, a pretty decent amount of damage, but in a PvP environment doesn't really work out as well as Way of the Mok'Nathal, in my opinion. You get that, you know, that 3% attack power buff, you know, so you figure 12% attack power you're going to get. Now, considering that they did recently nerf hunters in PvP with a 5% agility decrease, I mean, you already do less damage in PvP regardless. You know, you're going to want to try to pick that number back up as much as you can, and with the fact that they buffed the amount of time that this buff stays on you from 8 to 10 seconds, it is now a lot easier for you to maintain with the Way of the Mok'Nathal buff. So on your level 30 talents, you got a Murder of Crows, Mortal Wounds, and Snake Hunter. Now, I wouldn't go with anything except for a Murder of Crows on this tier, primarily because, you know, a 2% chance for a Mongoose Bite charge isn't really a significant enough chance for me to want to go this route with when I could guarantee, you know, a massive chunk of damage with a dot that cannot be dispelled. Snake Hunter I wouldn't use only because of the length of the cooldown. 2 minutes, you get 3 charges. I mean, is it good for like, you know, say duels or bursts, something like that? If you want to get as much out of your artifact attack, the Fury of the Eagle, then yes, because it is increased by Mongoose Fury, which is the buff that you get by using Mongoose Bite. So if you want to go that route strictly for dueling or something like that, then yeah, it works in that circumstance. It's good, but I like a Murder of Crows just as an overall because of the amount of damage that it does. Level 45 talent, you're gonna go with post haste, because disengage only works I don't know why the tooltip says increases your speed by 60%, because it doesn't. When you select the talent, it only allows you to leap backwards. You don't get the speed buff from it, as you can see. I wouldn't prefer it over post haste, because the fact that it gets rid of roots and snares, it's the other reason why I wouldn't use disengage. Like I said, I don't know why when you use it, it puts it, you know, it removes the 60% speed, but it doesn't for post haste. So moving along, we got level 60, so we're halfway done here. You got caltrops, guerrilla tactics, and steel trap. Now this is one of the changes that happened in 7.1.5. They made it to where they gave us an ability called guerrilla tactics. Yeah, situational here. This is more of like a dueling talent. It really does a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot of damage. It replaces your freezing trap. After 2 seconds, it fully arms, so it does 500% increased damage if triggered by an enemy that's not in combat. It hits like a truck, but you literally just watch them melt away. It's disgusting. So yeah, that's a fun talent to play with, but I wouldn't use it for anything other than, like, you know, than duels or something like that. The level 75 talent, we got Sticky Bomb, Ranger's Net, and Camo. Now personally, I'll use, you know, either one of these. The Ranger's Net, I like this for a ranged snare. But Camo's good if you want to get the opener on something, or, you know, if you're out questing and, you know, you just kind of want to like slip through an area. It's also good for the 2% heal you get every second while it's up too, so something to think about. Next we have on our level 90, we have Butchery, Dragon's Fire Grenade, and Serpent Sting. Now, I personally stick with Dragon's Fire Grenade just because it does a truckload of damage, and it's only a 30-second cooldown. So I mean, you definitely, the amount of damage it does versus the, you know, the short duration of the cooldown, it's pretty good. Serpent Sting's not bad for, you know, like BG areas, you know, stuff like that. If you're gonna, you know, be doing battlegrounds and, you know, you're gonna be, you know, hitting multiple targets and you want to just throw a dot on everything, then yeah, that's not bad. Next here we have our last and final level 100 talent is gonna be Spinning Cobra, Expert Trapper, and Aspect of the Beast. Now, Aspect of the Beast, as far as I'm concerned, is junk in any spec. For PvP, you're gonna be specking your pet Cunning. You should have either your Tar Trap or a Ranger's Net, or, you know, you should have something down slowing your target, whether it's, you know, whether you're Beast Mastery or Marksman, and, you know, you're using, say, you know, like Concussive Shot. You, as a hunter, there's no reason anything should be running around at full speed. If you're going to spec your pet Ferocity, you know, like for duels and stuff, you know, maybe, you know, I'd go with this in that respect, but I wouldn't touch it otherwise. Same as Spinning Cobra. It doesn't really have a whole lot of health. It can be avoided and killed very easily. Expert Trapper, just, I mean, it's got too many benefits. You know, the Freezing Trap, when the Incapacitate ends, you get a 50% reduced movement speed for 4 seconds. The explosive damage from your Explosive Trap, the damage is increased by 75%. Tar Trap, the enemies moving through the tar have a chance to be rooted in place for 4 seconds. Steel Trap, you know, we're not worried about that, but the damage from caltrops is increased by 50%. Now, you couple that with guerrilla tactics, and you've got the Explosive Trap. Once your first of all, it deals 50% more damage, and it strengthens the effects of Waylay. Now, Waylay is a passive we get as a survival hunter. Now, Waylay, the way Waylay works, your Freezing Trap doesn't break due to damage during the first 6 seconds. Your Tar Trap reduces the enemy's movement speed by 90% for the first 4 seconds. So they're basically stuck. I mean, having 10% movement speed is it's slower than walking. The Explosive Trap, it staggers the target, causing them to miss their next 2 melee attacks. So essentially what happens, the way Waylay works, is after 2 seconds, your trap becomes fully armed, making them more devastating. So that's the reason why I personally stick with Guerrilla Tactics and Expert Trapper, strictly because of Waylay. The benefits are just they're too strong. Now, as far as your honor talents go, I'll go ahead and I'll buzz through these real quick for you guys. The Gladiator's Medallion, I would go with no matter what. Now, adaptation, if every man for himself did more than just remove stuns like it used to, if it removed everything the way it used to work, then yeah, I would definitely use adaptation. I mean, a 1 minute trinket, auto trinket, and and then you got your own to get out of to any CC. Yeah, I would definitely go with it. But it's due to this that they removed it and just made it so they get rid of stuns. So in any case, I wouldn't touch either one of these. I would just strictly stick with Gladiator's Medallion, just so you can get you have full control over when you get out of a stun or any other CC. Next on the list is going to be either Hardiness, Reinforced Armor, or Sparring. Sparring, you're going to use this one in the event that you're going up against melee classes. If you're going up against a strong melee, I would personally go with Sparring, so that this way, their physical attacks have that 50% reduced damage if they do get blunted. So Reinforced Armor, I would go with this against casters, coupled with like Dragon Scale Armor. If you're working against like a Warlock or something like that, it won't remove like curses or poisons, but it does get rid of the majority of the dots on you, and you also take 99% reduced damage for that 1.5 seconds. So that window could allow your healer to catch up where they start falling behind. So it can definitely alleviate a lot of pressure if you use it right. Cat-like reflexes, I'm gonna go with this with double melee, just because that if they get a crit, you get that 30% dodge, a lot better chance they're not going to hit you. It's gonna alleviate some pressure as well. So next on the list here we have our stings. The fourth tier down, you have Viper Sting, Scorpion Sting, and Spider Sting. Spider Sting is incredibly strong against casters. If you can catch them trying to cast an offensive spell, it's going to silence them for 4 seconds. So if you use it right, it can be real clutch. Scorpion Sting, it has a negative effect on melee. This is going to be your melee sting. If you're running against a double melee comp, or a melee heavy battleground, it's only a 24-second cooldown, and what it does is it cuts the critical strike chance by 50%. So, and that's for 8 seconds, and that's an eternity in arena. Last on, or the first I should say, is the Viper Sting. Now this, and if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, but as far as I know, Viper Sting does stack with any other Mortal Wounds debuff that's placed on the target. So if you're running with a monk or a warrior, or you do like I do, and you have a Mortal Wounds, a pet that has a Mortal Wounds debuff, like a Carrion Bird, this Bloody Screech cuts the healing effectiveness that the target takes. So, and the beautiful part about it is the debuff stays on them for 10 seconds, and it's only a 6-second cooldown. So they're gonna be using this a lot. So it should keep the healing debuff refreshed. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and I'll plug that on there just to see if it maintains the debuff. I'm pretty sure it does, but yep. See, so there you go. Every time it screeches like that, it's gonna reapply that debuff. So as I was saying, the next on the list here is you got Hunting Pack. Reduces the cooldown of your aspect of the cheetah by 50%, and it also causes all allies within 15 yards to gain 90% movement speed for the 3-second window that it runs. So this is useless in my opinion. I would never use this. Mending Bandage, if you don't have a healer, this is really nice, especially the fact that it gets rid of all bleeds, poisons, and diseases from the target, and heals for 36% of the damage for over 6 seconds. You can get a nice little heal out of it, so it's helpful. Okay, so for the last tier in the honor talents, you have Sticky Tar, Diamond Ice, and Tracker's Net. I don't personally use Tracker's Net because, I mean, it can come in handy in situations, again, against like double melee, a strong melee class, because it reduces their hit chance by 80% while they're in the net. If you can toss that net on them as kind of a, just like a getaway and stop hitting them, then that's not a bad idea. But this would be the last priority. Diamond Ice, I mean, I don't know. I guess it wouldn't be bad, to use in situations where you're running against, a composition that can, where 2 of the 3 enemies can dispel. You'll never get a trap that'll last long if they're on point. So in that situation, I would use this, but other than that, I wouldn't bother with it. Sticky Tar. Any enemies who stand in your tar trap for 3 seconds have their gear coated with tar. It slows their melee attack speed by 50%. So this is really strong to use against melee classes, especially. So as far as the honor talents, this is my general setup. Like I said, there's a few things that are situational here, but other than that, this is what I stick with. Your pet, you want Spect and Cunning, and the reason why is, for one, it gets your pet a trinket, so they can get out of, if you need them to get out of something for, if you're trying to get a kill, you can trinket them out. Roar of Sacrifice is the other reason, because you get a 20% damage reduction, and the critical strike damage from the attacks that you take gets transferred to your pet. So if you make a macro that places this on your target, and you throw a men pet in there with it, then your pet shouldn't kill your pet unless they're focusing it. At that point, then what are you gonna do? But that's basically it. So as far as your rotation goes, just to give you an idea what it looks like here, what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll open up here, and I simply rotate between the 2, and as you'll notice, you'll see them stacks going up. Then what I'll typically do at this point here is I will refresh my lacerate, then blow my cooldowns on the target, throw my trap out, and I'll get my Fury of the Eagle out. That's gonna get all your abilities, all your dots and everything rolling, and you'll have the 12% additional attack power, so that everything you're doing after that point will dish out that, it'll hit you with that additional amount of damage. So if you notice here, my Dragon's Fire Grenade does 462,000 damage. Okay, and that's just because of what my gear and all that. So if you notice when I start my rotation, you'll notice how that number increases with every single stack up to 554. In any case, that's basically it. So as long as you guys get the gist of it. So yeah, you want to get your Raptor Strike buff from Way of the Mok'Nathal. Unless you're running with throwing axes. If you're running with throwing axes, then you don't really, you can kind of use your I wouldn't even use Raptor Strike. I would just go with the throwing axes as a filler. You probably start out with this on your way to the target. Start out with throwing axes, and maybe use Raptor Strike as an additional filler. But just to kind of run this back, the other reason why I run with Raptor Strike instead of throwing axes is your believe it or not, your artifact with Burr of Prey. You get, and that's not counting if you have a relic that adds to this. Basically what happens is Raptor Strike heals you for 30% of the damage that it deals. So if you'll notice, I'm getting 58k, between 56 and 58 every time, but you'll notice how that number goes up when I have 4 stacks of the Mok'Nathal Tactics buff. So that's something you got to keep in mind. A 60k heal really isn't anything to sneeze at, especially the fact that it can crit, like you just saw there. That ability can crit, so you can get 130k heal, and it may not seem like a lot, but if you're going up against a dot class that can counter some of the damage that they're taking, You couple that up with, your Roar Sacrifice ability, that's going to help you out too. So, just stuff to keep in mind. But that's basically it for this video, guys. I want to thank you all for stopping in and taking the time to watch the guide. I hope it was informative, and if there's anything that you feel I may have left out, or something I didn't touch on, please, by all means, leave a comment, and I'll do my best to update the video. Other than that, make sure you guys are subscribed. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and visit my Twitch channel as well. So I would greatly appreciate it. So with that being said, I'll let you guys get back to your day, and thanks again for stopping in. Take care.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you